What's up guys, John Bird III here, and we're back again for another video. In today's video, we're going to talk about a technique that everybody uses, whether you're a boater or a co-angler or you're fishing from the bank or a kayak, and they get bit everywhere around the country. And so we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. And so that setup is my Shaky Head setup. And so I have on here, the reel that I have is the Team Lose Hyper Mag spinning reel. And so this reel right here has a magnesium frame, super lightweight. And to be honest with you, like when the custom lights came out, I was like, I'm probably not going to use this Hyper Mag spinning reel a whole lot. And then when I started using it for a shaky head, and I was like, man, this reel feels super solid. And that is one of my favorite features about this reel. Super solid. And this is the 200 size. I don't like big 3,000 or 300 size reels or 30 size reels. I like a 2,200 or 20 size reel. Like that is just my wheelhouse. I feel like that's the perfect size. Some people say with a like a 3,000 size reel, you can make a longer cast. I don't really think so. I think that's all in their head. But for me, the 200 size works perfect. Because I mean, just to be frank, I really don't want to even be picking up a spinning rod. But in today's time, you have to have it. So that is on the Hyper Mag spinning reel. The rod that I have is a rod that you haven't heard me talk about on the channel thus far, and you don't really hear a lot of guys talking about it. But if you pay close attention, Jay Shakey for sure, I know that he uses these rods a good bit, and that's the Team Lose Pro TI rods. So the purple on these rods is a clear indicator. Yep, that's a Pro TI rod. And so this rod right here has the vibration transfer ring, just as I mentioned in some of the other rods that I use in the Lose lineup. And the rods, these rods right here are sleepers. Like point blank period, they are sleeper rods. They are super light. Like no over exaggeration. I'm not trying to gas the weight, but these rods are really light. So this particular length and power of the rod that I have, this is a 610 medium extra fast. And normally I like a fast, but what I've been learning with fishing this shaky head, the extra fast is amazing. Part of me wants to order a rod that is a tad bit longer, maybe like a 7.2, like I mentioned with the Mock Jack being my backup all around spinning rod. But I like the Pro TI rod for my shaky heads, like with the vibration transfer ring and then this full basically wind grip type of material that is on the grip on here. I'm able to feel a lot of bites. And not only that, but the vibration transfer ring is in two different spots. So is you have it right here at the top and a bigger version of it down here at the bottom. And so that allows me to be able to feel every single little itty bitty bite, rock, pebble, grass, stump, cypress knees, whatever. That allows me to feel every single thing. And that is what I really like about the rod. Just it's lightweight. It balances well with the Hyper Mag. Now the Hyper Mag it's a little bit heavier than the custom light. So if you had a custom light, it's a tad bit heavier than a custom light. But I feel like it's lighter than your traditional 200 size spinning reels that are on the market. So you have a solid reel, a super lightweight rod, which to me, these are the perfect balance. And then it allows you to be able to feel every single little itty bitty bite. And now it does go into the backbone pretty fast, because with it being an extra fast tip, I like to say an extra fast tip is it's like that. So if you could do this with your finger like that, like that's how much tip is when I think about an extra fast. Like it's that, I guess you could say it's 10% tip and 90% backbone. So the moment you set the hook, you already into the backbone, so you in it. And so that is what another feature that I'm not an extra fast action guy, because like with a wacky rig, I can't skip it with an extra fast. I have to use a fast, which might sound a little weird, but for a shaky head, it's perfect. So you need to check this rod out. And they have multiple different models. Of course, they got spinning, they got casting. And I'm tempted to go get the 7.3. The 7.3 medium heavy fast bait cast rod, because that's my favorite all around rod, length, power, and action across the board. And so I'm tempted to go get the 7.3 medium heavy fast, but I don't know what I'm gonna use it for. So I don't want to just be getting a whole bunch of rods and they're just sitting somewhere. So I'm trying to be strategic as to why I buy it. Maybe that might turn into my all-purpose jig rod. I don't know. I ain't really thought it all the way through. So instead of me just spending the money to get it, I think I'm just hold off. But I digress. Anyway, so we're gonna talk about the shaky head and the worm that I tend to use the most whenever I'm using this. So the shaky head in particular this is the owner shaky head. I don't know. I think it's called the Ultra something, but this is a 1/4 ounce. So normally I do a 1/4 ounce. I don't do, or maybe it's a 3/16. It's one or two. I normally rotate between a 1/4 and a 3/16. I think this is 3/16, and it allows me to feel the bottom. And then this head is kind of a mixture of a ball shaky head and a football head shaky head. If that makes any sense, because it has this like weird angle to it, and so it makes it look like a football, but it's not. But then it has some roundness as well. So, I mean, super sharp. They're super sticky. Now it is a light wire hook, and part of me don't like that because whenever I set the hook, I as as a bunch of my buddies say, I give them the beans. So I give them the pinto beans, the poking beans, black beans. I just give them to them. And so part of me doesn't like that, but I never had an issue with bending out the hook on the shaky head. So super, like I said, super sticky sharp, and it works great. The worm that I have on here right now is the Strike King regular finesse worm. It's 6.5 inches, and I rotate between this and the Fat Baby finesse worm. Those are my two go-to worms when it comes to a shaky head. And now one thing, like I've also sometimes I will use the Strike King filler worm, and I like that because they I guess you could say like the tail kind of floats up. And so that's when I would go to that if I feel like I want the tail to kind of float up. So the bad thing about this shaky head, if you use like an Elastec style trick worm, this is a screw lock, and it is almost impossible to get that worm on a screw lock. So that's the only downside about this particular shaky head. If you can get it on there, perfectly fine. But like I said, I tend to use the regular Strike King finesse worm. I use the Fat Baby finesse worm, and another worm that is very, very sneaky, and I don't think I have one in here to show you guys, is the mop stick. It's I think it's like 4.5 inches long. That is a very, very sneaky little bait to put on that shaky head. And that I've seen that thing like it gets bit. Like a lot of people have been throwing it on as a wacky rig, and I mean, anytime you think of stick bait, you think wacky rig, but it has the perfect size to really just put it on the shaky head. It's not too long. Like sometimes you would think like when you put in a shaky head and you put this finesse worm or any type of trick worm on there, where it's 6.5 or 7 inches, you think that might be a little too long. Like this is almost the perfect size, whether it's a giant fish or whether it's like 1.5 pounds. Like that little sucker falls down by that stump or right by that little small rock pile. Oh, trust me, they're gonna instantly nose down and grab it. And then make sure you get the mud bug, or is it mud candy? One of the two. But the one, it basically looks like a tilapia color. It is freaking fire. I love the little blue glitter that's in there and mixed in. Like it's fire. Point blank period. Now, so we're gonna talk about line, my braided line and my fluorocarbon leader. So for the braid, I use normally 8 to 10 pound Strike King tour grade braid. And then my leader is normally an 8 to 10 pound Strike King. I rotate between the Contra and the tour grade fluorocarbon. So it's either 8 to 8, 10 to 10, 8 to 10, somewhere like that. But that's normally what I use. I use the yellow. Let's just be completely frank. The thing of, oh, you use the lighter braid, the bright braid color so you can see when you get bit. It's like, I don't even pay attention to that braid. I'm looking for the feel. That is, I'm not looking for the feel, but I'm feeling for the feel. I'm feeling for those bites. I'm not really looking at this braided line. So the whole thing about, oh, you use high vis color braid and you can see more bites. It's like I'm not even paying attention to that. And I don't know how many fishermen really are paying attention to that, because let's just think about it. You cast your line out there and you're trying to figure out, all right, what's going on. You're listening for blowups. You're looking around. You're looking for birds, and you're just doing all of this stuff all at one time. And then also your brain is trying to figure out, if you ain't caught your first fish yet, you're trying to figure out, well, I done been here a little while. Where can I go to put my first fish in the boat? All of that stuff is running through your brain. You ain't paying attention to your line to look to see if that yellow line's swimming. I mean, come on. Like when we're flipping around docks and stuff like that, I mean, we look at fluorocarbon and we wait to see if we can see that line start swimming off like that. We know the fish got it. So I don't understand, or it hasn't really hit me, like, why do we use this high vis color braid on spinning reels to try to say we're trying to find those bites? Like, let's just be honest. Like, I feel like as fishermen, we need to really start asking real questions, because I think sometimes we tend to lean towards whatever the pro angler says, but to be completely frank, that is not always the case, because you really need to ask yourself, like, does this really make sense, or am I just following a trend? Does this really help me get more bites, or is it just a confidence thing for that angler? Like, let's start asking those real questions. And as we continue to grow in our fishing and stuff like that, that will allow us to be able to better evolve as anglers. And it also will be able to help us to really, I guess you could say, like, to put away those myths. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know B-Lat talks about a lot of different stuff on his channel. He's brought up some stuff, and the points that he brought up was like, it made perfect sense when he said it. And it's been a while since I watched one of those. I forget what video it was, because it came out a while ago. But when he started asking those questions, Todd Castledine did a video a few weeks ago, probably a month or two ago, and he started asking certain questions. And no, one particular thing he said was, so you mean to tell me that every angler on a body of water is throwing the exact same bait and color to catch fish? And that answer is no. So it's like, we think, okay, this is what you need to throw. Everybody's throwing this. This is how they catch a fish. And it's like, no, that's far from the case. And so we need to really start asking those questions while we're out on the water. We really need to start evaluating, does some of this stuff really matters? There's a thing going around, people talking about like bait colors for fish. Like, can they really see a green pumpkin worm? One thing that I think about all the time is with a drop shot. Why is it that we throw a Morning Dawn drop shot worm, whatever brand it is, to get bit, but a Morning Dawn worm looks like nothing? It looks like no actual earthly creature. You can say, oh, it looks like a red worm. A red worm ain't that bright. So Morning Dawn is not a natural color. You can say what you want, but if you throw like a green pumpkin, an Aaron's Magic, something like that, it's kind of like, okay, that looks a little bit more natural. But there's nothing natural about Morning Dawn. Let's just call a spade a spade. But anyway, I digress. So that's my Shaky Head setup. I'm actually going to pick this thing up and get out there, get out on the water this weekend and try to go catch a few on the Shaky Head. Going to this little local power plant, Lake Monticello. One thing I do like to, whenever I get out there, I like to throw a Shaky Head. One of my buddies, he's caught bigs on the Shaky Head now. And sometimes, even though I don't like fishing, spinning rods and spinning setups a whole lot, there's something about a Shaky Head that I just kind of enjoy to do. And especially when, like, Lake Monticello doesn't have a whole bunch of grass in it, and nor that nasty snot stuff. So it's rock, clay, and stuff like that. So, and brush pile. So I love throwing Shaky Head out there. I get bit on it a good bit. So, hey, let me know in your comments, what is your favorite Shaky Head setup? Give me the rod, give me the reel, give me the line, give me your favorite Shaky Head worm or bait. So let's talk about that. Let's add a little bit more dialogue in the comment section. And hey, if you got somebody that's trying to find the right Shaky Head setup, share this video with somebody. Hit the like button. I'm JB3. I got to get back to living the dream. I'll catch you later.